And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Mike Prince Show. An extremely busy week it has been for us, but as they say, the hits just keep on coming, and we're going to roll right along with them. But right now, it's grading time, and I'm so happy to have on the line with me Coach Van Pettaway. How you doing this week, Coach?
I'm doing great, Dr. Prince. This is another day that the Lord has given us, and I'm happy to be here and enjoying it.
Yes, sir, indeed. A lot of, let's say, moving and shaking going on my beloved campus. It's part of the territory, I guess, but we'll deal with that as the things develop. Speaking of developing, man, you got to feel good about how them old Bulldogs look this weekend, huh?
Oh, yeah, we're on cloud nine. You know, we finally found that Chinaman win one soon, and we're in the win column right now. So all things happy. Everybody's above in the clouds now on the hill.
I know that's right. Well, sir, we're going to save that cloud for last, and we're going to go through our grade book for this week's performance.
Okay, here we go. First up, it'll be Alabama State going out to Houston to play against Texas Southern. Alabama State won that game 16-13. And I'm going to give Alabama State an A. Anytime you can go on the road and win in the conference, I think it's a big deal. Even though they only won by a field goal, I'm going to give Alabama State an A. And on Texas Southern side, they have to get a D because, you know, they're at home. You expected them to do a little bit more.
I gave them a C minus, Coach, Texas Southern, that is, because, as you say, they were at home, and some key turnovers cost them the game. But I guess they did enough to keep me from whipping them out with a D. And as for Alabama State, I gave them a B plus. You know, like you mentioned, on the road, they were opportunists. They took advantage of those mishaps by Texas Southern and got a strong passing grade from us this week.
Okay. All right, well, next up, we're going to go down to Tallahassee where they hosted Mississippi Valley, and they beat the Valley 34-7. I'm going to give Florida A&M an A for winning at home, winning the way they're supposed to. And I'll never be able to fail Mississippi Valley, so I'm going to give them a C minus for showing up and at least having 7 points.
Yeah, you can't fail them, but they sure can hurt your heart.
Yeah.
I really thought that this was going to be a breakout game for Valley with the new JUCO coach, you know, with his second game under his belt. But they came in on 4 flats. I gave them a D, Coach. They disappointed me. That's all I can say. They disappointed me. As far as FAMU, the Rattlers, as you mentioned, stood their ground, did what they were supposed to do and expected to do any given season. And I gave Coach Simmons and company a B plus as well, taking care of business. I'm still looking for that from FAMU.
Yep.
And maybe they're getting it all cranked up right now, so I gave them a B plus.
Okay. And then on down to Baton Rouge, where Southern hosted Arkansas Pine Bluff, and of course they blitzed them 59-3. We're going to give Southern a A for taking care of business at home, and Arkansas Pine Bluff will have to get a D today because only 3 points. They should have saved some of those points that they were scoring in those other 2 non-FCS schools. So,
yes, sir.
That's how we have to do that.
Yes, sir. You're funny, Coach. You're funny. I gave Pine Bluff a D. I was disappointed in them as well. They're going to, well, not going to. The whispers are saying that there's a lot of heat on Doc Gamble's seat right about now. And it's amazing how this thing can change so quickly. You know, they were spring Western Division champions, and now we're hearing these whispers. So hopefully they can come out with some fight this week against Texas Southern. I am giving Southern an A minus, and I give them an A minus because it appears, not disrespecting the Golden Lions, that they're not playing with a full deck, and Southern has been bowing their neck on teams, I guess, that they're supposed to bow their neck on, but teams have handled them in the same manner. So even though they scored 59 points, the most this week in the conference, I give them an A-, but I'm licking my chops for this week, right, Coach?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm licking my chops for this week, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, we got your beloved Panthers, PV, played Grambling out of Dallas, and PV came out on top 34-14. I'm going to give Prairie View an A in that game, and Grambling has to get a D. To me, they're one of the most disappointing teams in the SWAC, so they get a D out of me this week.
Yes, sir. Prairie View, they dominated that game, Coach, with the exception of, I guess, some sleepwalking in the third quarter. I gave him an A- because, speaking with Coach Bubba McDowell, he and I are in agreement that they got to finish these games. They got to finish these games. And because of that, I gave an A-.
Okay.
Grambling, I gave them a D as well, sir. It's just something about when you hear the Blue Bloods like a Grambling, Southern, Jackson, you just expect more out of them.
Correct.
And I guess the scriptures are true to whom much is given, much is required. And it's been a bit disappointing. I know they're trying to turn things around, but right now they're in D. And in the famous words of Alfalfa, this D don't stand for dandy.
Gotcha. Yep. So they're just not. I think they've disappointed a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right, and then the last game of the week would be my Bulldogs hosting Bethune-Cookman for homecoming. Alabama A&M won that game 35-27. I'm going to give my Bulldogs they'll get a B+ out of me for this game, and believe it or not, I'm going to give Bethune-Cookman a C because they scored 27 points. It was a tie game at halftime, so it was a good ball game, and we sleepwalked through that game, so that's why they only get a B out of me, even though it's their first win.
Yes, sir. This was probably the more competitive game out of the lot from last week.
Right.
And because of that, I gave Bethune-Cookman a C+, and I gave them that C+ because, like you said, they scored the 27 points, and they were taking care of business. And I gave your beloved Bulldogs a B+, sir. Okay, yeah. They rose from the ashes, and they showed up for homecoming. Now let's see if they can be consistent with this week's opponent.
Right. And then speaking of this week, we got a nice slate of games. When you look forward, I'm looking at Florida A&M against South Carolina State because of the MEAC SWAC thing. So I'm looking forward to that game. But and then also you got Jackson State going down to Montgomery. But the big game in the West is going to be Southern and Prairie View at Prairie View. Now this will tell us how this race is going to shake out on the West side.
You hit the nail square on the head, sir. And speaking with Coach McDowell, speaking with the staff, speaking with players, speaking with administration, speaking with the community, everybody is on fire for this one.
Yep.
And it's one of those things. This is what athletics is about. You can respectfully root against your opponent as long as it's in clean manner, and there are so many storylines coming with this. And of course, the return of Eric Dooley, the return of Jason Dumas, who ironically has been cleared to play this week against the Panthers. Reports have indicated that he was dealing with a quad injury, but he's well enough to come out against his former team. And man, it's going to be a sight for sore eyes, Coach. A sight for sore eyes. And that's going to be on my high radar watch. And I'm also intrigued with Jackson State, because now it's just a matter of, is there anybody who can beat Jackson State?
Right.
At this point, they're just rolling right along, and we shall see what the end's going to be when the dust has settled, sir.
Oh yes. But I look forward to a great week of SWAC football, and this is what the conference schedule is all about. Everybody, with the exception of FAMU, is going against a conference opponent. Well, I'm sorry, Bethune-Cookman's got Tennessee State, but this is what SWAC football is all about.
No doubt about it. And you know what, Coach? I'm looking to see what Alcorn's going to do this week. They and Jackson had a bye, and see what these teams add or even lose when they get that bye week. It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, the reason why I didn't mention that game is because they're at Valley, and right now Valley doesn't seem like they can get out of their own way.
Well, yeah, I know. But they'll be on that grade report for next week, though, won't they?
Oh, yes.
Well, Coach, it's always a joy, pleasure, and an honor to be able to sit and chit-chat with you, sir. And I want to give you some closing thoughts and comments for this week's segment.
Well, I want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, getting the message out. And I look forward to our talks, and I look forward to another week of great SWAC football. And we'll come up with the grades for next year. My pencil will be sharp and ready to give out some grades as these teams participate for this upcoming week.
Okay, sir. Well, I'm going to be right there as your assistant, helping shape out that grade book. And you know what, Coach? We got midterms after next week.
Okay.
Somebody gonna have to sink or swim, huh?
Yeah. Oh yes.
I can only speak from my college days, Coach. Sometimes I have to go to the instructor and say, "Can you help a brother out? Can I really, get a chance to make up some time for some lost ground?"
Right. Is there any makeup work that can be done?
Yes. Yeah. Can you make up some makeup work? Some makeup work for the makeup work, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about. Well, Coach, look, I thank you again, sir, for joining in with us. He is the guru, the dean of the Open Mic University. I call you doctor. I'm going to call it anyway. Dr. Van Pettaway. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and visit our website, obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.